Problem 10.1. We're in millimeters, grams, and seconds. Part's origin is located at the center middle. Everything's symmetric. All sketches fully defined. Lines, center lines, circles, slots. Features extrude boss, extrude cut, fillets, and chamfers. Reference geometry planes, and then use a slot for the center cut. All right, so when I was looking at this, we're still being asked for a volume, not necessarily a center of mass. If we use the reference geometry plane, we would be drawing the square and go across. Takes maybe 20 seconds to generate the plane and a couple of steps, but on the within our selections, we could draw this out of position, and then if we needed to, rotate it into position. So as an alternative, I think I'm going to do it that way. We might do this one both ways since it's not crazy time prohibitive. So my first thought then is we will go into, based on their isometric view, let's go into the is that going to be the right plane? No, it's going to be the front plane. Get my perspective going. All right, so one of the tools that we don't use very often are the 3-point. And let's see, is that going to drag off of the center? There we go. So if I set those two equal and that to vertical, I can start off with my sketch in a position that I can just use the right plane. So we have our geometry. Let's see if it's going to be helpful. I can go ahead and put in the reference, but we're not really given a depth, are we? It just comes down to that radius, so those aren't going to be as helpful as I thought. All right, so let's go ahead and extrude and midplane, and then they were 50, so yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. So 100. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Edit sketch. It is going to end up being 50 once I mirror it. So more just to have a starting reference. I want to put these in, and I need to mirror across that one. And we'll put in those guys for our numbers. All right, so exit the sketch and rebuild. Anytime you make a drastic change, where it's going to switch over to contours and regions, it's going to bark at you. So in this case, I want the contour because it has everything in it. And we can show that sketch. Then I can go into, let's just say, the right plane. And we know that that geometry is there. So normal 2. Oh, I think I got into the continuous arc a little too quick. All right, so 25 on the radius. All right, and then that point, now I don't really want it to pierce. Probably could have done with a point. Nope, we can just go with one of the endpoints, and because it can project into the current plane, then then it will go ahead and solve. So let's go to 25. I think that was 25. That looks like it, nope, 12.5. That was radius. All right, 12.5 on the flat, 25 on the arc. There we go. All right, let's go back normal to Control 8. And we'll drop in a center line. Mirror everything. Be careful if that is not defined, that we add a relation that we verified that it's vertical. If that's off even a little bit, it'll make that that cut a little bit strange. All right, so extrude cut through all both. We go ahead and accept it. The axis then, since we really didn't generate one, well, let's see what it does, see what it'll let us pick. So circular pattern, direction. So not really liking our geometry. Well, let's try a quick fix and then see if I need to generate an axis. So if we go construction line and then just give it some distance. What I'm looking for is something, but I don't know that that establishes the symmetry. Oh, yeah, no, I need that one highlighted. Circular pattern. Nope, didn't like it. All right. All right, so it is looking for a line in that plane. So let's see, cut extrude, edit sketch. Now let's just take one of those edges and convert it and flip it to construction geometry. All right, so that gives us an axis. Show that one, hide that one so I don't confuse myself. Circular pattern, we have the cuts. We need 4 of those. Okay, now we can hide that one. And pretty much our fillets, oh yeah, we have the slot still. So let's open up the sketch and we'll go with a center point so that I can pick the origin. And then we're doing 20 between the centers. And our width, our radius is 8. And then that one can be extrude cut through all. Necessarily through all both, but let's check the direction. All right, so when I'm looking for the direction, okay, we flipped over to the single arrow. If there was still a double arrow coming this way, since it's cutting into open air, there's nothing for it to terminate at. All right, so let's grab a fillet. What did we have? Radius of 3. And we'll pick another one. And we're looking for the one that grabs everything. All right, so there is our geometry. We have a mass of 202,594. So let's check that first. 201,863. 50, 50. All right, 50, 28. Oh, no, they're all radius of 3. So we're in that margin of error, but there we go. So if we needed a center of mass that was not skewed, well, actually, what did it come up as? 0, 0, 0. So even if I rotate this, I'm not going to see too much in the center of mass. But let's go into the direct editing and make sure that we can move copy. We need to come down to translate and rotate. And then when I expand out the rotate, we're going to be rotating around Z by 45 degrees. And no copy. So that put it straight up, which sort of works. Based on the front view, edit. Now let's just go minus. This is one of the few places that you'll actually enter negatives as a value. All right, so let's just run through the process. If we had drawn the front plane sketch, let's go with the center rectangle. If we had drawn this in the orientation, just so that we review how to create the plane, we'll have that that information available. All right, so that goes extrude boss base. Are we still in midplane 100? Okay, so to draw the cuts, we need to pick our reference geometry plane, and I can go with an edge, and then when I pick the second reference, it'll clear everything, and I can pick a point. Now with that, we can open up the sketch, and that was a little strange, but okay. So let's go to the center. And we're doing basically the same thing. And I won't run through all of this, just enough of it to illustrate the point. But we have our 12.5. Oh, and the 25. And if that didn't, there it goes. So let's see, we're also going to need a center line going that way then, which was basically my convert before. And we'll mirror so that we can get the 50 in between. Okay, and then all of that, we go left to right so it doesn't grab the other mirror line. Mirror across those, and then we're ready to extrude cut. And this one goes back to through all both. All right, so we hide the plane, and then we can still do the pattern, which probably going to need to have that. Well, we have the other center line, so let's treat it as if it was completely going that way. So let's show and make sure that we're on the extrude cut, circular pattern, 2 items, and pick our center line. So what do we have? Equal spacing or instant spacing. So 90 degrees. All right, so if we do equal spacing, it's just basically going to replicate itself. If I do an instant spacing, it's just going to say 2 at every 90 degrees until it fills out. All right, so faster, shorter, don't know. We put kind of the initial effort into this one, and then it becomes the rotate. So even if I suppress that one and show the body, that's neat. We would, we're still ending up with the same. It's just 2 different ways to get there.